Go downstairs. Go downstairs.
All right. And
You said it's all here. What? I did. Sorry. That's good. I don't need it. Nah, I don't need it.
So Bones, I need to do anything as far as YouTube is concerned?
but no, it should have popped up by now. Just share your screen again. I gotta look at the bottom of your OBS.
All right.
Got Jag outside. Jag is everywhere. What you looking?
Is there any way you can shrink your OBS to where it's showing the numbers? It be showing our CPU usage.
What do you mean shrink it?
All right, right there. Yeah. That's it's saying it's live, but it's not showing.
Go ahead.
Do I need to have had my browser up so I can pull it, or what?
Stop the stream. Let me take this.
Thank you.
We live.
Uh-oh.
All right. So you want me? So do we need to mute until?
Mic check. Mic check. Peace, Monica Robinson.
Get away.
Yeah, already in the room.
All right. Hold on. Let me pull up.
All right, man. Put that down. Let's go.
Let me do this right quick.
You can pull the audio volumes down some too, because I see they clipping in red.
How do I do that?
Just slide the little meter, the little white little meter down some.
Right here.
I can't see it no more.
Oh, hold on. This one right here.
Yeah, do the same one to the top one. Bring it up a little bit more. Oh, right there, yeah.
Okay. I muted Mark. So
Okay.
Sound like he had his hands full, so I figured I'd give him some assistance.
All right. Peace, America is Kemet. So everybody coming in. We're setting up for another community spotlight. Like we said, this is where we bring people from the community that's out here doing the work, whether it's through genealogy, helping other people through genealogy, showing the people that's actually doing the real work that's making this possible to move forward. Send this link out. So how has your day been so far, TMH?
Productive. Fairly productive. You know, just because it's a weekend, it don't mean we don't have work to do. So.
That's normally how it sounds. That's normally how it
Yeah.
sounds.
If we sound all right, can we get some ones in the chat so we can see if everybody can hear us? So if you can hear us, give us some ones. Make sure everybody can the vocals and stuff are right.
Yep. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, send these last links out, and I'll be ready on my end.
Look, now remember, I got the OBS, so if you need something to be adjusted, let me
I'm
know.
glad. I'm glad you said something. I just working. I don't even see it open. It shut off on me.
No, I got the control, boss. I got the OBS. So if anything that needs to be adjusted, just let me know. I'll take care of it.
No problem.
And I don't see where we're being heard. Hold on, let me see. Mute.
Yeah, so far I see America is Kemet, and yeah, we got sound coming back because I can hear it.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's good. He said there's an echo.
You said an echo effect.
Hold on, let me make sure.
You got a double on an OBS. Do you have desktop capture on?
Yes, I do.
Okay, mute desktop capture.
Is that better?
Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. How that sound out there now? Yeah, I ain't hear the echo on the playback.
You talking about some just?
Yeah, baby.
He said just turn the auto tune on. Don't do that because you know we got that right. You know we can do that. You know we can do that. Stop playing.
Yeah,
Stop playing. We can do that.
sounds them ghosts.
I ain't mess with y'all.
No, not finna, not today, not today.
Exactly. So yeah, today we're gonna be doing a community spotlight on Mark. He's reigning out of Ohio. He's been doing some serious genealogy work and came across some very interesting information from doing his genealogy and I mean just basically doing the work and doing the research. So we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna find out a little bit about him, hear his story. You know, just like I said, just encourage everyone to continue to do your genealogy to make sure that you are going at least 3 to 4 generations back to tie into your tribe. And if you have any challenges or you need any help, you know, we're always here to do what we can to assist. And we will also like to hear your story. You know, let us know how far you've gone back, what got you started and things of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and, before I get started, you got anything that you want to add, Bones?
No, you about covered it all. It's just our third community spotlight, the third of many more to come.
All right, so I'm going to bring in Mark.
I hope it's not trouble.
Mark, can you hear us?
Yeah, I
Mark?
hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
So, look, as you've heard, we are on live. So, if you have the opportunity, give us a brief, I guess, look into the life of how you got started into finding out about this community, and what got you started on this journey of doing your genealogy and connecting to to your tribe.
Okay. You still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
All right, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, so well, if I could get straight to the point, basically, I'm I got kids and I had a long journey before having starting a family. And my main focus and study was always in the Bible. When I started to try to clean my life up and everything, started studying that, and a lot of things hit home. Made a lot of changes in my life, and history has always been a big portion of it. But I kind of went with the flow, like what everybody was thinking, with the out of Africa. But I was really focused more on what was going on here, what what we have to deal with here. And then after having kids, all the issues that we had with the government and everything, just trying to get them out of the system. And I always wanted to get them out of the system, get us out of the system. And I got to the point to where I was thinking like, man, we just need to just go back home and think about like moving to another place, but kind of was looking at Africa for real, and something just was telling me to know for sure where I came from. My grandfather had always told us that he was Cherokee Indian, so I was always under the impression like maybe I'm half and half or whatever. I ain't really know. So I started to really look into it, and I just started doing some research, man, and just looking at stuff online, like, and I was typing in the term Black Indians because I kept seeing that they, the settlers when they came here, they saw quote unquote Black people. So I'm like, well, damn, if that's the case, then what they had to go to Africa for? You know what I'm saying? How many of us was here, and what really happened? So just doing the research, and then I started. Dane Calloway was the first one I started seeing his work, and I kept seeing some of his stuff on YouTube, and I looked at it. I looked at a couple of his videos, and he was showing basically his research that he was doing. He was digging up primary sources, and then when I seen him talking about primary sources and shit like that, I'm like, oh yeah, he know what he's doing. So I started binge watching his videos, and then I started seeing Corey Mayo's videos and all of that. And so yeah, I'm that's start doing the research, basically just piggybacking off of their research and listening to you guys because I haven't been really able to do a whole lot of research on my own. Just kind of looking at what y'all pulled up and trying to go back and just basically piggybacking off of that. And yeah, basically that's really it. Now I'm like, shit, I got to That's the way out the system for real. Get back, linking back into the tribe. So I'm really on that. I'm really on everybody getting together and doing our own thing, getting out of this wicked system. That's what I'm on.
Understood. It's interesting that you said as you was doing your research, the first one of the first videos that you came across, the YouTube videos you came across, was Dan Calloway, because that's how I got introduced. The first video I saw from him was dealing with Dr. Martin Luther King because I was doing research on private foundations, and that's what pulled me into finding out that I could potentially be indigenous and have Indians in my family. So yeah, shout out to Dan Calloway and also to Corey Mayo for providing all that great information. Now,
Right.
Mark, as you started to do your research and you started to listen to the YouTube scholars and listen to what they were saying, you started to just really take it seriously that you was going to go through your family tree. And just by from what you found out now, what you already know, and from what you've gone through, what would you say is a common myth about genealogy that you can debunk?
I think the biggest myth is that taking a DNA test you can find your genealogy by doing a DNA test. They got people they got people they got people confused on that. They really playing a trick on people. I think that's intentional. So that's got to be the biggest myth right there. That thinking that you can take a blood test like you on the Maury show, find out who the daddy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's got to be eradicated, man. That's just nonsense. DNA, your DNA is not even the same as know what I'm saying? You pull up an ancestor, that's talking about as soon as you go back to your mom, it's gonna split up 4 to 8 different ways. You know what I'm saying? So that's got to be the biggest one, and that's easy to debunk just using your brain. And then yeah, you can look at the science behind it. They'll tell you that it ain't straight. They'll tell you it's basically just for entertainment, for real. So I think as long as just people just take a little extra mile, just look at stuff just a little bit deeper, they'll be able to find out the truth about stuff.
Okay. So yeah, that is one of the biggest myths, and that's propagated by the the corporations or the companies that actually allow you to do your family tree, but then they want to tie it to DNA. And like you said, if someone
Mhm.
actually purchases that and they look on the box that say for entertainment purposes, or if you look up lawsuits, you look up ancestry lawsuit or 23andMe lawsuit or African ancestry lawsuits. There have been numerous lawsuits to where people have sued them and won. So much so that now
Mhm.
you can no longer sue them because the government allowed these companies to change something in their bylaws and the way they do business, saying that this is for entertainment purposes only, not
Right,
for education. So now, if you
right,
find out that you used your cat's DNA and they said your cat was from Africa, thinking it was you, you can't sue them for false information because they were allowed to change their bylaws and their constitution, which allowed it to be for entertainment purposes only. And now, you know, it's the only thing that you can generally use ancestry and all those other sites for is basically to tie into your family tree. So yeah, I would definitely say that's one of the more common myths that people are aware of when it comes to genealogy, family tree, and learning your lineage. So appreciate
right.
that.
And then I don't think people really, I don't even know if people really have to are really interested in their lineage doing it that way. That's kind of easy just to be like, pinpoint. That's to find out race. You can't. That's not even really caring about who people actually were when they came over, what they went through, where they was at when they came over. If they was to come over here on the boat, where did they go? What did they go through? You know what I'm saying? You don't even care about that. You just want to say I'm African. but so that's kind of a bait. That's kind of a bait for people that really don't care. Honestly, that's what I believe.
Okay, so Mark, for those of us that are for those that are just tuning in, what screen name do you go by on the platforms when you're logging in, so everybody know exactly, so they can put a voice with the name. So what screen name do you go by?
On YouTube, it's just Mark Walton.
Okay.
That's what I had set up. You know, I ain't get all into putting a continence and all of that in. I'm gonna figure out something to make.
Fair enough. Yeah, so so everybody that's logging in, we're doing a community spotlight on Mr. Mark Walton, who's currently living in Ohio, and he's done some search on his family tree, and he's going to share with us a little bit about his story. Now, Mark, you said that your grandfather, correct me if I'm wrong, your grandfather on your father's side told you that he was Cherokee.
On my mom's side, my
Okay,
mom's dad.
okay, okay. So, where was he located? Where was he from?
His he was born in Tennessee. Um, but his father his father was born. I think his father was born in Tennessee as well. If not, it was born in Virginia because his grandfather was born in Virginia. So basically originated from Virginia and ended up in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I had to on the research on that. I had to is trying to make sure that this names didn't change or it's kind of I didn't want to. I kind of wanted to be careful about just saying state names and everything. But it looks like they came from the Virginia area to Tennessee. They originated in Virginia.
Right. Cool. Okay, so let me ask you this now. When you got started doing your genealogy, your family tree, which side of the family did you start with first? Did you start with your mom's side, or did you start with your dad's side? And which side has shown or proven to be a little easier or less challenging?
I started with my mom's side. I started with kind of doing both sides at once, but I went kind of spent more time on my mom's dad's side, really because he was the one that said that he was Cherokee. So I figured that if he knew, he, I figured since he was the one that really represented that, there must have been some strong lineage there to where I'd be able to pinpoint that easier. Um, and also, I knew more. I kind of know more about that side, and I kind of know more about that side. And other people I kind of asked were just kind of like, she kept telling me to take the DNA test, so I kind of left that other stuff alone. So I just kind of stuck with that. And then
Yeah, you on that one.
I got I did research on my mom's side also, but I was trying to go from mom to mom to mom, and the surnames make it real difficult. So I was able to pull up some stuff with that also with my mom's lineage, but I got far back tracing my my grandfather's dad's dad, my grandfather's grandfather. So I got far back with that. So I figured that ought to be decent enough.
Okay, so let me ask you this: being that you've gone back, have you been able to confirm or find any information that are linking you to the Cherokee tribe, the Cherokee Nation, or Cherokee Confederation?
Not any information as far as like what word of mouth or historical type information.
Historical, word of mouth, or what have you. I mean, because if you talk to, if like for instance, if you talk to some of your great aunts and things of that nature, they may be able to provide some information, or they may have provided some information. Sometimes it's not always documentation, but it's it could be something as strong as word of mouth.
Yeah, they all identify. They all even they identify themselves as Cherokee Indian. They've always done that. So that's kind of why I went to that through that side. But just looking at the historical side of it, the Cherokee Confederation is so big. It's almost like damn near everybody down there was Cherokee at some point, or had ended up merging with the tribe, merging one tribe with another. The history is just so convoluted to me. Honestly, it's kind of hard to really tell what's what. But
Now that's powerful that you said that y- majority of the family on that side all claim Cherokee. That's very rare that I've heard. Um, Not to say that it doesn't happen, but that's the first time I've heard of somebody saying that. So the fact that you have a whole group of people stating that they're Cherokee and they're standing on that, that's pretty powerful. So I commend you on that and just being able to share that with the audience, because there's some people that may not find the actual, they may not have yet found the data to support it, but just being able to have family members that do not have a challenge or an issue was stating yes, that we're Cherokee, we've always been Cherokee. That makes it a lot easier, because that means when the time comes for the information to match with what they're saying, that's going to add more validity from the standpoint that I'm saying. So I give you kudos to that.
okay, yeah. Granddad always. I heard him say that a couple times. You know, I'm a Cherokee Indian boy. I can hear it. I can hear it, and everybody in his family always said that.
Okay. Now the majority of your family, you said they were in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, Tennessee and Virginia.
Yeah, they mostly resided in Tennessee. As far as I know, they came from Tennessee. But when I did the genealogy, I saw Virginia. His grandfather coming from Virginia.
Okay. Now, do you know exactly where in Virginia?
No, it just said Virginia. That
Okay.
that's where I got kind of hung up.
Okay. So let me ask you this question: since you've been on this trek, what advice would you give to someone wanting to do genealogy?
Um, man, that's what kind of worked for me. Go talk to somebody. Go talk to your people, like as far as like grandparents are still alive or whatever. Talk to them and see what they say, and you can and then try to stick with that. Oh, try to stick with um whoever gives you the most information, I guess, because you can go anywhere. Like, I know, like, from the looking at stuff and just common sense, they didn't even get nobody from. They didn't get no slaves from Africa. You know what I'm saying? So you can just forget that. So you can go with anybody in your family if you identify as being a Negro or whatever. Just anybody that gives you the most information, take it and run with it. Go with it and look and just try to find out. As much as you can. Ask them first. I would ask them from looking at that, doing that research on ancestry.com. Is the questions that they ask are names, names, date of birth, death dates, marriage dates, location of where all this stuff took place. Um, the locations are really the main thing. When did they move from here and there, and just so you know what to type in, and you know what to when you can avoid those surnames, like because looking at my mom's my grandmother's side, her name was have a name that ended with Washington. Her maiden name was Washington, but her mom's maiden name was Woods. So, man, if these people could tell you as much as they knew, that make it easier. But names, dates, names and dates and locations as much as you can. Bombard them with get a piece of paper out and write it down. Take a picture, and don't let them tell you to take keep telling you to take a DNA test to say, okay, I take a DNA test, but give me the info so I can look it up too. That's I kept getting that like over and over again. So I would just say, don't get discouraged, man. Do it, like really do some homework.
Okay. Now let me ask you this question: um, are there any resources that have really helped you on your journey when it comes to your family tree and being able to reach out to, maybe uncles, aunts, and great aunts that you hadn't thought about reaching out to, or things of that nature? What resources have been very helpful and beneficial to you?
Mainly just family. I got family that's in Tennessee right now that was giving me a lot of information on my about my grandmother's side. So even though I wasn't able to really find it online, I have that information. So that way, you know what I'm saying, I can it's easier to narrow it down and stuff that kind of, if they just little clues that they gave me. But I think family is the biggest resource for real because history is kind of hard to sift through that stuff, man, and knowing what you're actually reading. So, but I honestly haven't really done a whole lot of historical research. Like I said, a lot of it I kind of looked at other information that other people were pulling up, and I go back and double back on that. But nobody even really pulled up anything that's related to like my side. I was looking for Virginia mostly, but all I kept hearing about was like Florida. Because, a lot of stuff went down. They have, they fought with them a lot down there. So, but I haven't found a lot of Virginia. But yeah, the biggest resource I would say is family.
Okay. Let me see. So here's another question. Um, what do you wish you would have known starting out with doing your genealogy? If you could go back and talk to yourself before you started on this journey with genealogy, what's the one thing you wish someone would have told you while you was getting your genealogy search started?
Well, I wish I wish my later ancestors, like my mother and father, I wish they would have been more diligent about knowing, so they could have just pulled it up and told me. You know, I but wish things that I would have done. I wish I would have got started earlier. I wish I would have woke up a lot earlier in life. You know what I'm saying? That's all. As far as what I wish from myself, I wish I would have woke up a lot earlier and wouldn't have been playing around as a child, as a youngin. But but my parents, I kind of wish they was more involved with that type of stuff, and cared a little bit more. But that's just the way it is. Miseducated. So if you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly. And also too, when it comes to this information, you pretty much wake up or activate when you're supposed to. Because if not, if you would have activated too soon, there's no telling what would have happened. So we wake up at the right time, the time that we're supposed to. So, but I definitely understand what you're saying from the standpoint of wishing you had got started earlier, or it would have been nice to have your parents um, get that family tree, as far as possible, so it made the trek a little bit easier. So then when you pass it down to your children, they have to do minimal work, or it's just easy just to pass the information down. So I definitely get that.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So now I remember you saying that you were looking at basically getting pretty much, for lack of a better term, getting out of the system, and just trying to live a more simple life. Um, but was there anything in particular that led you to doing your genealogy? Was there one particular point which basically crescendo and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I'm just gonna do my genealogy. I'm gonna find out who my ancestors are, and we just gonna go from there. Was there one particular incident or one particular situation that you could pinpoint that led you to it?
Well, listening to the people say that you could. Dane Calloway was probably the first one I heard mention doing that research for real. And then I thought like, oh, you can actually do this. I didn't really ever really think that you could actually do your genealogy and do that research on that. You know, until they said it, then I'm like, okay, I guess you can. I guess you can go that route, and just started looking it up. That was really, I didn't even know nothing about genealogy till I started binge watching the YouTube videos.
Right. Well, you and I both. I mean, I had a family tree that my father had, but I hadn't really done anything. I had an ancestry account for 5 years, but it was dormant. So yeah, I'm right along with you. Dane was the one that got me activated with this. So let me ask you thus far, Mark,
Yeah.
have you found any slaves or any Africans in your family tree thus far?
No, no. You said any slaves?
Yeah, have you when doing your genealogy or just talking to some of your elders, have you found out that anybody in your family was from Africa, or that you had any slaves in your family, meaning that they were slaves, or they were they were owned by somebody?
Um, no, actually, I assume that I looked up the slave rolls, 1850 slave rolls and slave census or whatever, and and what I found out was that my great great grandfather was the one that he was on the slave rolls. It looked like, but the way that they wrote it out looked like he owned slaves or whatever. But the word, how that word slave is, don't really have much of a meaning for real. And it looked like it was everybody on the roll was his family. So I didn't type in his name. The last name was Campbell. I typed the last name Campbell. It was hundreds of them. And so just kind of then I was like, okay, so I just started typing in popular black last names for black people, even my last name and my wife's last name, stuff like that. And it was pulling up all the people were black and they were being released on the slave schedule. So I'm like, this could have just been basically just big families You know what I'm saying? That they probably put them on there so that they could be labeled as their property or whatever, so they couldn't be bought or something like that. That's just kind of how I read it.
All right. Well, for those of y'all that just coming in and joining on, we want to let you know that we're doing a community spotlight with one of the brothers that's always supporting our channels, all the YouTube channels, Mr. Mark Walton, hailing out of Ohio. So he's out with the family, but he decided, he would grace us with some information as far as his journey with
Hey,
genealogy. So that's where we're at now. We've been asking Mark some questions. He's been basically shedding some light. Um,
if you
eh,
don't mind,
Go ahead.
you want to mute me for a second. I'm about to order some food at Chipotle. I'm gonna be real fast.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead, handle your business. I got you. So yeah, we've been talking to Mark, and he's been telling us his journey from the standpoint of going out and just doing his genealogy. He said that his he found out on his mom's side, her grandfather has always stated that they were Cherokee, and for the most part, that's what the family has been touting and speaking. Like I said, which is very powerful because some families, from a lot of families that I've come across, haven't had someone, haven't had a bunch of their family members tout that. So that's powerful. He's also said he was looking at the rolls and he saw that his one of his ancestors actually had some family members that were listed as slaves, but they were on property that his ancestor owned, which basically goes to show you that they were probably listed as slaves for either tax purposes or for purposes of keeping those family members from being removed and sent off to either Liberia or somewhere else, depending on the time frame. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's pretty much the gist of it. But we again, as always, we encourage anyone who has done their genealogy, done some research on their family, and you want to share your story, please do, because at the end of the day, we cannot. This show does not exist without the chat. Because if y'all don't exist, it's just me and Bones talking to each other. So, we encourage
Yep.
everybody to drop us an email so we can share your story and help encourage others to do what Mark Walton has done and Daniel Jeffers has done and Pamela Hall has done. So let's see if Mark is finished with his order and we're gonna get back to the questions. You done ordering, Mark?
Nah, you gotta give me a little bit of time. They got something else going on.
No problem. No problem.
You don't know for real. It ain't even no big deal. Y'all can hear what I'm ordering. If you want to.
Now you might make the
Okay.
chat hungry.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get everybody settled down and get them something to eat because ain't nobody ate. I'm trying
Yeah,
to sit
no,
down
no.
and do
Yeah,
this.
man. There's no problem with that.
So we'll go ahead and mute you for a few more minutes, and then we'll come back to you.
All right, they get.
All right.
One of the things that I wanted to just talk to you about, Bones, while we're waiting for Mark Walton to finish his order,
Mm-hmm.
is that there had been a video dropped about the 573 tribes that were federally recognized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah. And those are just the federally recognized tribes though.
Right.
Uh I'll be having a state recognized probably by tonight or first rising, that'll be airing.
Okay. So with that being stated, you have 573 federally recognized tribes. Now, as of today, as of from what you've seen so far, how many state recognized tribes are there?
Right now, getting the list down is ironing out to like 833, but there's a couple of more to go through because some of them, we got to remember they're broken up in three categories: federal, state, and local. And then you have some of them that got federal and state. Some of them have like state and local. Then you have some that have all three.
Okay. So you breaking them down from those that are all three, that are state and federal, and then the ones that are, I mean, state and local, and then the ones that are just local?
Yeah. Well, we got basically I got the federal list, the state list, and I'm working on the local list as we speak. I have some people pulling up those, verifying them. It just takes longer because I want to verify that if it's federal, we just making sure it's federal. You know, the ones that are state, the ones that are local. But these are recognized. This is not the. Then you had the unrecognized, and that list is it's a lot.
So I was under the impression that there were over 573 state recognized, but you're saying there's over 573 federal recognized and over 800 state recognized.
So far, yeah,
So there's really no excuse why we wouldn't be able to tie into a tribe.
correct.
Hmm.
Just taking the time out to do the work and time back into it is not an easy process. It doesn't happen overnight, but they're out there. And the purpose of putting a list together is to make it easier because also it's showing you the areas of the tribe. So if people pay attention and you're doing your genealogy, you're getting a map to see what tribes were in what areas at certain times. You know what I'm saying? It's a other way that you can use this information that we're putting up.
Okay. So it's gonna make it that much easier to not only find a tribe and tie into a tribe, but also make it easier to reach out to a tribe, thus making it impossible to make the excuse that there aren't enough tribes out there, or there are no tribes that are close to your vicinity.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's really no excuse for that. Question from the chat is what any of us could be tied into these tribes. Yeah, and that's the thing. Any one of us can be tied into any one of them or multiple. But you don't know until you look. You'll never know until you reach out there and find out. Stop waiting for something to come to you. You got to be willing to get out there and do it yourself sometimes.
And just from talking to some of the tribal genealogists, what they've told us, and this has been confirmed by people that are that also have YouTube channels that know about this. If you generally go back 4 generations and where those generations were at that particular time, that's normally the tribe that that you could tie into. So say you go back, for me, I went back 4 generations on my father's side, and they were in Caswell County, North Carolina. And then I went back 4 generations on my mother's side, and they were in Wayne County, North Carolina. Well, at that particular time,
Mm-hmm.
that was Catawba Sapani, and that's where we tied in
Mm-hmm.
at. So wherever your ancestors are at during that time frame in that county, whether it's a county or reservation, that's the tribe that you should first try to tie into, if that makes sense. So hopefully that helps. So that's good. So, and the reason again why it's important to tie and do your genealogy is because based off of what we've learned from the build and from the discussion on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday concerning Joseph Brant, is that there are dignitaries, politicians, and presidents that are tied into tribes all throughout the Americas. So having the mentality that we could just say we're Indians and we can kick them off the land, that's not going to happen because they can sit there and tell you what tribe they're from all the way down to the Indian. So if it comes down to it, and they can do that and you can't, who got to go? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Don't get caught up in the okie doke because you don't know your own history.
So let's go back and check in on Mark Walton to see how him and the family are getting situated. Mark,
Good. Yeah, I'm here. No,
are you good?
good
Or
over
you,
here.
or you need more time?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Might hear me smack one of these kids up every now and
Uh,
then.
look. We can't be what do you call it? I can't be a witness to that. So
nah, nah.
look, good thing is our audio.
You ain't seen nothing.
So Mark, um,
Well, we
Yeah.
can
I
all
want to
take this
thank you
time
again
out
for.
real quick.
I
Well,
want to
before we
thank
get
you
back
again.
serious,
Say what, Bones?
no, I say before we got back serious, I was about to say, Pamela Hall, Sellout, IC Network. Just to everyone who just came in the room real quick.
All right. So Mark, being that you've been on this trek with the genealogy and time, trying to get back the time to the land and things of that nature, you have yet to find out that you have any ancestors that are from Africa. Not to say that you might not run into them, but with that being said, being that it can be a frustrating and daunting task for any of us that have chosen to go this route, what do you think that what one unique skill that you say that you possess that has helped you become successful in getting as far as you've gotten in doing your genealogy research?
Get this far, just sticking with it. um, really, just I don't know if I would say it would be a skill, but just a mindset, more like just knowing that it's important. I mean, it's important to me. Like I said, I'm trying to get up out of this system. Like I hate the way this world is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, this is the way out. So I ain't gonna stop. That's what that's what uh, that's what the mindset is. So that's basically it. Mindset, just knowing that I got to get up out of this, knowing that I got to get back to. I never thought that we could get back to where way things used to be, but now I'm optimistic about it. So optimism, having that mindset. Yeah.
All right, most definitely. So let me ask you this question: being that you've been on this journey, has there been any interesting information that you found out about your family while doing your genealogy search?
No, nothing new. Just that they all was from the area that I've always known that they were from. I was trying to really, I thought that it would, I was learning on the way while I was doing the genealogy, listening in and learning a lot of stuff on the way. And I thought that at some point it was going to say that it was going to have Indian on the information on the census or something somewhere, but I guess come to find out, it ain't like that. But they, being that it said colored or mulatto, that's how you know. So I was just learning on the way for real. Then I didn't really find anything new or different as far as families concerned.
So
That
basically,
everybody had a bunch of kids. Like me, I got 4 kids, so yeah, see where I get it from.
so basically, what it boils down to is it's been pretty consistent. You've done your genealogy, seen that your family members either worked on a farm, either own a farm, or were considered a laborer of some sort. They pretty much stayed in the same area. No one was really listed on a consistent basis as either a slave or an indentured servant, nor did they say they hailed or they come from Africa. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they had farms. My great grandfather had lived on the. He actually looked like he was taking care of his parents. My great great grandfather, and they had, and he had some property that was enumerated, a bunch of land. I really want to pull that document up and see if I can look back and see exactly what it was. But it was in Tennessee, and he had a nice little amount of land with some. He had some cattle and everything over there.
Wow, that's awesome. So let me ask you this question. Many people believe that genealogy is challenging so much to the point that it becomes overwhelming for some of them, and it can be, it can be too much to handle. Especially like yourself. You're taking care of your family. You and the missus you have children. You have a whole life that you have to deal with, and genealogy is just something that additional to all the other responsibilities that you have as an adult. What do you
Right.
think? Why do you think people believe that it could be potentially not worth looking it up or not worth doing the genealogy. What's the most common reason you believe that people give up when it comes to their genealogy and just says, you know what, I'm not gonna do my genealogy. I'm just gonna, start my own tribe. How do you think? What do you think the reason for most people doing that?
Start your own tribe. Actually, I'm kind of one of those people. Like, man, let's start our own damn tribe. Looking at what's going on, I'm like, shit, we can start our own big ass tribe. But I'm uninformed, really, just making jokes. But I think what really probably get people discouraged, it is difficult because especially if you don't have a lot of information, especially like you got family that don't know nothing and they keep telling you take the DNA test or something goofy like that. Man, I know it can get frustrated, but I don't see why you would want to give up. Because I got a lot of responsibility. I kind of got in trouble with my wife spending a lot of time on it. She didn't really see the big significance in it, but I'm like, nah, man, I ain't gonna stop. So I don't know, man. What would make somebody want to give up throwing the towel like that? Probably just that they didn't see the importance of it. So I don't know, man. That had to be hard. You do have to have some information though to search back. You have to have a grandparent that knows something about their parents because you can't even get any real information until you go back into the 1930s because nothing's even listed after 1940. So your parents, if they was born in the 50s or 60s, and they don't know nothing, you screwed pretty much.
Yeah, you said a lot there. 72-year gap between the census.
Yeah, say that again.
I'm saying there's a 72-year gap from the census.
Oh yeah.
But we're not getting the 1950s until what? 2021. We'll finally be able to see our parents.
Right. Hopefully it won't be too late by then.
So I have three. So I have three questions for you, Mark, that are what we consider fun questions. They have nothing to do with genealogy. So the first question is, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Oh, it depends on what you ask. When you ask. If I'm listening to Too Short, it might be.
Hey, get honest, huh?
Nah.
It depends on the
Favorite word, man. Life.
Life.
Probably the name of the creator. Right now, I'm learning a lot about that type of stuff. So.
Right. Look, we have to put him and Pamela Hall in the same room. That would be interesting. Then them talk about their two favorite words. The
You
next,
said the same thing.
no, well, it was in the same vernacular. It was an expletive.
That's funny.
So the next question I have, can you name me one thing that you are not very good at? Meaning, name something that you suck at that you're willing to admit.
Man, now you're gonna bring the cockiness out of me. I don't know. What's something that I'm not good at? Something I'm not good at. I'm not good at remembering people's names. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably a lot of stuff that I'm not good at. Like, I don't know, man.
That's fine.
Probably something that I don't bother trying to do.
I want to do that anyway.
Right.
Fair enough. Okay, so if you could have one superpower, what the Marvel Comics, their movie is coming up on 2 billion in sales, which we know basically is a story about us and our ancestors. If you could possess one superpower,
Wow.
Mark, what would it be?
Man, right now it'd probably be to heal people. Probably be to do something that it could be a superpower, open people's minds up, and
Okay.
bring some
That's
revelation.
deep. Mm.
Okay. So open. So the superpower would be the ability to open people's minds up. Okay.
And just thinking about context right now, yeah, heck yeah, right now that's what we need. Just, I mean, I don't know. I probably would have some physical powers too. We could fight this. We could finish the fight that we left off in the 1800s.
All right. And the last question I have for you: if you were a type of food, what type of food would you be? Consider you're in a food court, I guess. So if you were a food, what type of food would you be?
Um, a type of food, I don't know. I saw them when you asked that question. I was like, what? I don't know what to say because thinking about a fruit that might be strong, but I'm like, I say watermelon, but that's hard on the outside, soft in the middle. I don't know. That's a good question. Something strong that's got a lot of iron in it. Burdock fruit.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, you got a laugh from Pamela Hall. Hey, Bones, do you have anything that you want to add, or you want to say to Mark before we let him go and get back to his family?
Just real quick, I appreciate you taking the time out to do this. If you could tell us what it is that you would like to see moving forward
What I like to see with what?
with the American Indian in this plight that we in. What is it that you would like to personally see improve?
Um, well, I think what I'm wanting to see is bound to happen. I think it's already been prophesied. Uh, I think we're gonna get it all back and never lose it again. I think we learned our lesson.
All right.
So so I think I just want to see us get it all back and get some harmony. And everybody understand what our purpose is in life and not deviate from that. You know what I'm saying? Not let people come in, letting these invaders in here, and not be sitting here, let these invaders in, they in control and they're in authority. And that's got to stop. We got to be the authority because obviously we are I mean, we're it. So people should be looking up to us. They flipped it around on us. So that's got to change. And I'm pretty sure it is. And from the looks of it, the way things are going, the way people are kind of waking up, it's about to happen here in a little bit. So hopefully that's the case.
All right. Like I said again, thanks again. We're not gonna hold you away from your family. I appreciate you taking the time out to speaking to the community, letting them know about your journey. The things you learned along your path.
I haven't been able to really be for sure about uh, being able to like tie into a tribe specifically. Just from what I know and what I've been able to see, even looking at the history, it looked like I should be able to tie into Cherokee, but I never really got a full understanding on how that actually works. You actually speaking with somebody, you actually, somebody sit there and fill out some paperwork for somebody, or how does that actually go down?
That's actually a good question. So basically, what it boils down to, when you do your genealogy and you can go back It's close to four generations on all from all four parents. I mean, from all both your parents and all four grandparents. Then what happens is you then fill out a form. You can either fill out a form on one of the sites from one of the federally recognized tribes that were in that area at that time that they were located, from one of the state recognized tribes, or one of the local recognized tribes. And then when they find your name on the rolls under the surname for those parents, then they will then send you a ID card, or they will send you some type of document stating that you are a part of that tribe. Because this is the thing that most people don't realize, because a lot of people don't talk to Indians. Every tribe has a surname list, and many of the tribes have surname lists to other tribes because they do talk to one another. They do communicate. They do have
Hmm.
powwows. So we are under the misunderstanding that they are isolated and they don't communicate to one another, but that could be further from the truth. They are very familiar with themselves. I remember when I went to Virginia Tech to talk to we talked to one of the advisors, and she heard Danielle's last name, and she was like, "Okay, you are Jeffrey, so you out there by Catawba." She knew that, and only and just talked to Danielle. So because the genealogists of those tribes are very familiar with those surnames, they can pretty much tell you where you're at. So our job is to do our due diligence and go back at least four generations. So for your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, and your great great grandparents. So your third generation grandparents, and wherever they were at the time of the census during that time in that county is where that tribe is that you could tie into. So depending on where they are at will determine which tribe that you could potentially be a part of. And that tribe has the list of surnames. So it's not a guesswork. And they can tie you back and they can tie you in. So you figure you're
Hmm.
looking at you looking at a 1 in 8 or 1 in 16 chance of being tied to a tribe. And if there's at least over 573 federally recognized tribes and at least 800 and counting state recognized tribes, then I would dare say that the chances of you tying into your tribe are pretty great. So, Mark, how far back have you been able to go with at least what's the furthest back you've been able to go with your genealogy? Let me unmute him. Mark, what's the
You,
what's the furthest you've been able to go back with your genealogy?
um, yeah, I haven't been able to really go back. Um, I didn't go look on my father's side at all. So hopefully if I need to do that, then I need to get on that fast. But I've really just been looking at my mom's dad, my mom's dad, and my mom's mom, and I went as far back as um, my great grandmother. I know for sure that they were in Smithdale, Pennsylvania, and it looks like her mom was in. Her mom came from Loring Springs, Georgia. Um, date wise, I have to look at that again. I don't know for sure exactly what date that was that they would have
Right,
been in Georgia, but I know my grandfather. I know my grandfather is on his side. That's where I really got the most evidence. Um, they were in Tennessee, like I was saying. They were in Tennessee, early 1900s and late 1800s, and then supposedly he was born in Virginia, but they were all they stayed in Tennessee for most of the time. So I was hoping that I'll be able to use that. I was hoping that I'll be able to use that lineage there as far as them being in Tennessee. But then I don't know because if you had to use everybody, then you could come up with different tribes, couldn't you?
well, and that's the point. And one of the misnomers is that we're taught that we have to go through our mother's side of the family, but that's only if you're not melanated on both sides. If your parents are melanated on both sides, your mama got a mama and your daddy got a mama. and your daddy's mama got a mama. So they talked. You got to look at it. The reason why they really emphasize the mother's line is not everybody is melanated. Have parents that are melanated on both sides.
Right. Yeah. So I could do a lot of research based on that. Like you said, I did start out on my mom's side because of that, because I thought that's how you had to do it.
Right, but that's what was taught. But as we've been doing the research and we've been reading about the tribes, because the tribes are maternal, matriarchal. That would lend itself to understanding that if you have a father that is European and you have a mother that is Indian, so yeah, you're not going to go on the father side because the father's going to lead you to Europe. But if
Right.
both of your parents are Indians, then now you're looking at the potential of anywhere from 2 to 4 to 8 different tribes. So that's one thing we have to keep a mindset on. So
Right. I stuck with my grandfather's side, and it led me to Tennessee. It led me to Tennessee and Virginia, but really mainly Tennessee. So I was hoping that I could use that information and go from there. I don't know if I'm still not really sure if I can or not, really.
well, you might be able to, because if we can find out where your grandfather, your great grandfather, or great grandmother were in that particular county, I'm sure their last names, their surnames would be on one of those rolls in those tribes.
Okay.
So
So I need to contact somebody in that tribe.
yeah, somebody in that tribe, or if, like I said, if you need some help with your genealogy, or if there's anything that we could do, let us know, and we'll lend you our resources. So that won't be a problem. You're not in this by yourself, bro.
Right. So then, do you know anybody in that tribe I can speak with?
Right offhand, no, but we'd have to look at your ancestry tree, your family tree, to see what counties they were, and then we could basically line them up. Or we may know somebody that has access to those tribes out there. Because that's another reason why we do these spotlights, is to help other people get their information out there, so people will be like, hey, I know somebody that might be able to help, so forth and so on. So as this is recorded and broadcast, and then people listen to it, you don't be surprised if somebody reaches out to you.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's our main reason for designing this, to help as many as possible tie in this genealogy. So yes, it might be rough, but you're never alone. That's what the Conference Assembly is designed for.
Okay. Yeah, I do need to pull them records back up and brush up on it, because I did the research and went back and did it again after doing a little bit of history. Now I know some new things within the past month. I learned some new things. I need to go back and look at the genealogy one more time.
And remember as well, if you need help with your genealogy, lineage, family tree, please contact us at autonomousassembly@gmail.com. And you can visit the website www.autonomousassembly.com or aa.org. Again, remember, if people need help with ancestry.com accounts to do your genealogy, hit us up, because we do have one account that people can use if you're actually doing the work. Hit us up at the website or any one of them email addresses.
All right. So, Mark, is there anything else that you like to say to the chat or to the people that's gonna be listening to this before we head out?
Um, don't stop doing the research, I guess. That's all I can say. Just keep doing the research so we can get back together. Do what we got to do, because you don't want to be all on out on a reservation by yourself. You got to be together. Because it looked like, if everybody's starting to wake up, they know that. The enemy knows that. So you don't want to be caught. You don't want to be caught in the middle of something when they start doing something crazy. We want to be together so we can all fight together. whatever the fight is. I ain't saying we're gonna be out there shooting bow and arrows and shit. I'm just saying.
Got my rocks.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
stop.
I wouldn't mind. I'm just saying, we gotta be together. So everybody, it's important because once you get tied in, you get your whole family. I got a lot of cousins. You know what I'm saying? So you get tied in, everybody tied in.
And you said the key that a lot of people keep forgetting. If you're the one in your family, you don't have to see your family. If you tie yourself in, guess what? You just tied your whole family.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So, Mark, we definitely want to thank you. Want to thank the missus for allowing you to share your time with us. We definitely appreciate your family's patience, and we definitely look forward to you continue to show your support for not just our channel but all the other YouTube channels that you support. We want to say thank you. We appreciate you, and if you need any help, man, just reach out to us. All right.
Thank you. Same.
All right,
All right.
All right now.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
I'll let you.
Okay.
Yep.
And like we said, that's why we do this. To help members of the community get their stories out there, their information out there, because you never know which one of us on a panel and the chat or listening can have the missing links to help us on this journey and to make this work a lot easier and a lot lighter.
That's facts. That's definitely facts. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't do me any good to be tied into my tribe if I'm not helping anybody tie into theirs. It's great, but at the end of the day, you want to be able to not only share that feeling, but you want to now offer your assistance because now that I'm tied in, now I don't have to worry about looking for a tribe because I have a tribe. So now I can spend some of my time in helping others. And that's basically what it boils down to. And with what we know now and the census coming up, it's all about resources. If we're not declaring who we are as a people, those resources get sent somewhere else. Um, and that's something that's important and that's critical, especially when you're talking about them removing Negro, and you said they're removing Negro and Asian or Oriental off of the census.
Yeah, Negro. What they already did, it was the two. I think they said what the last census they voted to have Negro and Oriental removed.
Right.
So that's wiping out a whole lot of people from the 1800s alone.
I know, right? That look, they'll be wiping me out because my birth certificate says Negro.
And you got to realize our children won't know until they elders. They won't be able to see this until what, 72 years from now?
Yep.
I mean, come on, we can't leave it up to them. We have to do it. We have to plant the seeds. We have to turn the soil over to start growing something for tomorrow.
Exactly. So again, for those that are leery when it comes to the census, I understand. So what I suggest is you fill out the paper form of the census. You get it notarized. You make a copy. So you keep the notarized copy and you send a copy to the Census Bureau. The notarized copy can go into your family records. So now your children don't have to wait 70 years to see what you put or identified yourself as. And if they continue that trend, then the census will always be in your family records. So that's just something to think about.
You won't be waiting 72 years to find out no more. I mean, just think about it. We're just finally, some of us are just able to see our parents. We're just going to see our parents as babies in 2021.
Yeah, I'll be able to see my father because he was born in 47, but I won't be able to see. I may be able to see my mom because she was born in 50.
Yeah, I know I'll be able to see my mom. I think my dad I won't be able to see until the next census. That's something.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, I mean, again, this is what I'm suggesting people do. Do your genealogy, get tied into a tribe. With the information that's coming out, as far as what tribes are available in your area or the area of your fourth and third generation grandparents, there should be no reason why you won't be able to tie into a tribe. Our job is to eliminate as many excuses as possible. You still have to do the work, though. We will do everything we can to help.
Mm-hmm.
Find your tribe. You find your tribe, tie into your tribe, and we will help your tribe. And one of the things I want to help people understand, the reason why I'm saying help your tribe is because at the end of the day, this is not about charging somebody to get the information so they can help their tribe.
No.
We're not in this to generate income.
No.
And at the end of the day, like I keep telling people, if I don't know you and there's nobody to vouch for you, this information is too critical and it could be misused to hurt somebody, or
Mm-hmm.
it could be misused to the point where it could prevent us from getting stuff. So
It already
I'm not
had.
I'm not telling you anything because I don't know what your intent is. You can feel about it the way you want to feel about it. You can talk about it the way you want to talk about it. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, I'm not putting something out so you can then turn around and go charge people for it so you can get you some money. We're not doing this to get paid. We're doing this to help people. And if I don't trust you, I'm not telling you anything. And if you got a
Mm-hmm.
problem with that, you know where I live. You know where my office is. Come holler at me. I relinquish the mic.
On that note, like we said, we're here bringing A2's resources to help the American Indian, to uplift our voices to the day that we are self-sufficient. That is the main goal. That is the end game. We have been through too many ups and downs and lost too much throughout our history to sit back and let this progress right here go back or become stagnant because someone looks like us or someone pretends they want to help or no. Everything has to be held accountable moving forward. Like we constantly say every show, we will help you find your tribe and we will help you help your tribe. And the goal is to become self-sufficient. And on that note, like I always say, it's been fun again, how it always is with the relatives. TMH, anything else you wanted to add on?
Like I always suggest, do your genealogy, do your family tree, tie into your tribe, locate your tribe, then let us know, and we'll help you and we'll help your tribe. That's all. That's pretty much all I got. And again, if you doubt us, try us. You know, it don't take much to be right. Just try me.
That's it. 7 days a week, 24/7, 365. We are here. And on that note, it's been fun. Until we link up again, this is Auchtoctones Assembly Community Spotlight, where we take the time out to put the spotlight on the people in the community that's doing the work. To the next show, peace.